Welcome back to another episode of Cinematic Reviews. For the next 3 episodes, I'll be giving my thoughts on all 8 live-action Spider-Man movies, including Spider-Man No Way Home, which has been confirmed to drop on digital stores March 1st. Today, I'll be kicking off this miniseries with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the OG Spider-Man as some fans refer to him as. I'll give my thoughts on each of these 3 movies, and then at the end, I'll give my ranking of the trilogy. You can find my Spider-Man rankings and all the others I've done on Letterboxd under Cinematic Reviews. Before I do that, let's talk about some facts about this beloved trilogy. Eternals was released on November 5th, 2021, and directed by Chloe Zhao. This is my first and only exposure to Chloe's work. She only has a handful of films under her belt, so I was very impressed with all the effort she put into this film. The character of Icarus was heavily inspired by the 2013 DC film Man of Steel. This didn't surprise me because I noticed a lot of similarities with the choreography between the 2 films. Salma Hayek has a multi-picture deal despite her character's death. The original script had 12 members of the Eternals instead of just 10. The other 2 members are rumored to show up in later projects or even the sequel. Chloe Zhao is the first solo female director to helm a Marvel film. Now let's get to my thoughts on this very controversial Marvel film. After watching this movie 3 times, I've come to the same reaction. This is definitely a lower tier Marvel movie for me. I give major props to Chloe and everyone involved for their efforts in creating a different and unique superhero movie. Notice I referred to it as a superhero movie, not specifically a Marvel movie. That is because this did not feel like a Marvel movie to me. The Icarus character is just a Superman ripoff, except for far less compelling of a character. I felt nothing at the twist of him turning out to be against the rest of the team. It's no slide to Richard Madden because he is a great actor. The writers just didn't give him enough depth to work with. The best they could come up with was to kill him off by flying into the sun. The fucking sun. Now I know they were going off the classic story of Icarus flying too close to the sun, but that doesn't mean you need to go so literal with it. The main reason why this is a lower tier Marvel project is mainly due to the writing and the plot. For instance, the writers chose to have Kingo sit out of the final fight when they spent so much time hammering into the audience's brain that this movie is all about family. Why would you have a major piece of that family sit out for a poorly written reason? It would have made the ending a lot stronger if the whole family was fighting and working together in order to save the world, especially if the family was going up against one of their own. Another bad choice was having Thena suffer through some memory issues just to add unnecessary conflicts throughout the film. They didn't need extra fights within the Eternals team. There was enough conflict with the Sprite and Icarus characters. Adding a third is just too much for the audience and creates a messy story plot. My last major issue was the Icarus and Sersi relationship. Sersi, played by Gemma Chan, and Kit Harington's character Dane had a lot more chemistry together. The writers wanted the fight between Icarus and Sersi at the end to be tragic, but I felt nothing when that part happened. Just like I felt nothing when Icarus killed himself because he knew he couldn't stop Sersi to complete his mission. I believed in the relationship between Dan and Sersi a lot more. I was actually rooting for the Icarus character to die so that they could be together in peace. Now, it may seem like I didn't like anything in this film because I labeled it as a lower tier Marvel movie. There is actually a lot I enjoyed. Visually, this is one of the best looking Marvel movies, maybe better than a lot of the other superhero movies in general. The visual effects they used for the powers was an excellent choice. Every time the Eternals powered up, it was a get hype moment, especially seeing Makkari running around. She's probably my favorite character next to Sersi. There's a lot of diversity in this movie, and adding in a deaf superhero was such a bold and fascinating choice for Marvel. My favorite scene is her running around punching the shit out of Icarus in the final fight. Seeing her anger over potentially losing Druig was heartbreaking. The audience hits a huge sigh of relief when it was revealed that he survived his fight with Icarus. The relationship between Druig and Makkari is fun and adorable. I didn't really care for either the Icarus, Ajax, or Spike characters. However, I did enjoy the rest of the team. Kingo, when he was on screen, was fun to watch, especially with his power being finger gun blasts. That's one of the many reasons why it was a very bad choice leaving him out of the final fight. Thena was badass, and Angelina Jolie did a great job in that role. Aside from the poor writing with the memory loss overall, I enjoyed her character and her relationship with Gilgamesh. He too was a fun character to watch on screen. His death was a bit of a bummer because his character was written well enough for the audience to react to his death. Most of the Eternals are relatable in many different ways, but Phastos is by far the most relatable, with him having a husband and a son. He had something very personal to fight for, similar to Sersi fighting for her relationship with Dane. Now, since it is a Marvel movie, I have to give my thoughts on the post-credit scenes. The first one, introducing Star Fox, who we now know is the brother of Thanos, to the MCU is very interesting. I didn't see that coming, let alone Harry Styles playing him. Apparently, he was the first and only choice for the role. After seeing him in Dunkirk, I'm very excited to see what he does with the character in the future. The second post-credit scene is probably one of my favorites of the MCU. I'm really excited to see what Kit Harington does with the Black Knight character, but I lost my shit when I heard Mahershala Ali's Blade talking to Dane off camera. Very excited to see what Ali is. Very excited for Ali to finally bring Blade to the MCU. So to close out this episode, I'll give my ranking of Eternals within my MCU list. As I said, to me, this is a lower tier Marvel movie. I have it at number 27 out of 31 Marvel projects so far. It is followed by Captain Marvel at 28, The Incredible Hulk at 29, Thor: The Dark World at 30, and coming in last is Thor. Visually, and some of the character moments is what keeps this film from hitting the bottom. As always, you can find the rest of my MCU rankings, along with many others, on Letterboxd under Cinematic Reviews. So that will do it for this episode of New Release Monday. Join me Friday for the second episode in the Spider-Man miniseries. I will be giving my thoughts on Andrew Garfield and the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Also join me next week for another New Release Monday.